And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Well, this is an automatic, huh? Cosmic Encounter, Cosmic Storm, the newest expansion for Cosmic Encounter. This is expansion number 4. I believe I said after the last expansion that I was pretty content. They didn't need to add anything else. There was plenty for the game at that point in time. That is very true, and yet I will gladly take this expansion. This one is the first expansion in a while that does not add a new player color. There was 5 colors in the original game, and then they added 6, 7, 8 with the next 3 games adding a new color each time. So now you can have up to 8 players playing the game. This one instead adds some space stations and 25 new aliens. Let's take a look. The first cool thing is that this expansion adds 25 new aliens to the mix. That's great. You know, I think Fry drank this guy. But there's all sorts of cool aliens, and I love the artwork. And many of these aliens, well, I don't love the artwork in this one. It's gross. But many of the aliens have some really neat abilities, but nothing that's really over the top and weird. I just really enjoy them. And I love the artwork for the Bulwark. I don't know what it is. This guy cracks me up every time. And so there's some neat, cool, like in-jokes too. And just even the Grumpus has the power to grump. I like that. And the Vox has the power to make a card go up to 11, which is great. You know, he can take any card and make it that's lower than 11 and make it go up to 11. But let's take a look now at my top 10 favorite aliens from this one. Number 10 is the Phantasm. I really like this guy because when you reveal the encounter cards, you turn over the top card of the deck, and you can, if it's not an encounter card, tough, but if it is, you can switch it with either card. Now this is lucky, of course, but it's cool, it's neat. It has the ability to make one guy's ability lower or make yours higher. Lots of fun to play this guy. Number 9 is the Sycophant. Now I like him for a couple reasons. One, I love the thematic purposes of this. You put 10 tokens on here at the beginning of a round, and you take each battle, you flatter the person that you think is going to win. If the person that you flatter wins, you take a token off the sheet. If you get all the tokens off the sheet, you win the game. Arcade is hilarious. They have the power to pwn. They're my number 8. I like the fact that when you beat somebody basically by 10 or more, so you crush them, you take one of their ships and put it on the sheet. If you get 5 ships on this sheet or 3 of the same color, you win the game. So another alternate victory condition. Then we have here number 7, the Patriot. Hurrah! Once per encounter, you can show a card, a player card from your hand. If they accept your loyalty, they take the card. If they decline it, then they have to give you a ship, and you put the ship on this sheet. So you can offer someone a card. They're either going to take a card or they're going to give you one of their ships. So you can show them lame-o cards. They can take them or not. And then you can use this to return all these ships to the main player, and you will basically change it to a negotiate. So you're like, remember when we offered to help you? I don't know. I just think it's a cool... I like being able to change things to negotiates. I always thought that was a cool ability. I like how this guy can do it and get rid of cards from his hand. Then we have the Brute. This guy is just great. He can threaten other people. I almost thought he should have been called the Thug. You know, he can pick, when he's a player or an ally, he can threaten one person on the other side, and they either have to let you look at your hand and take any cards you want from their hand, or they take all their ships and they're out of the encounter. So it's just a threatening, and you can play that up as a gangster type thing. The Squee! This is the thing so cute, no one wants to kill it. If you fight the Squee, they can blink their eyes at you. Apparently you have to do this in real life. And then if that happens, you either lose automatically because you don't want to fight these guys, or you can continue to fight them, your choice, but if you do so, you have to lose 3 ships. These guys make you pay for it. Then the Roach, really gross guy. You add a whole bunch of tokens of ships that are not your color, and you can send them out on turns to other people as a defense. You can pull them onto planets, and when those ships get killed, they come back here. So it's like having an extra pile of invincible ships, and they scatter around like roaches. The Outlaw, a very simple ability. Whenever you are playing and as the main player, the attacker defender, every person that you go up against, the main player or the ally, is going to have to give you a card from their hand randomly, which is a really cool thing. A stick 'em up ability, and it makes people think twice about allying from you. Number 2 is the most awesome Sneak. The Sneak has the power to infiltrate. Basically, if you're the defense and you lose, you can use this power to stick the ships that were destroyed onto the opponent's planet. That's a really cool thing. It makes you want to lose, and it makes your attacker want to lose, but they want it to win. It's very cool. It's a game changer, can really be running neat. And then my favorite is the Swindler. The Swindler gives each person a token that they put in front of them, and most of the tokens are blank, but one of the tokens has a red X. That person is your mark. Now, after the defense has been determined, if you want to, you reveal the mark and you switch with that person. You switch your color, you switch planets, you switch everything. You take their identity. You're stealing their identity, which means that you could possibly win as long as you put it on the right mark. Now, if you don't, they're going to be taking a planet back from you every time, or from everybody. So you got to be careful, because you could possibly give that person the game, but it's still neat. If you can pull this off, and it can be pulled off, it's one of the coolest features of the game, which makes him my favorite alien. The expansion also comes with a pile of flare cards for each of these new aliens, but what you're really interested in is it comes with space stations. Now, you can play with space stations in a couple ways, but mostly what you do is at the beginning of the game, each person will get a random space station card. You will then look through all the different space stations that come with this expansion, and you will take that space station and put it on one of your planets. As long as you control that planet, you will have the special ability of that space station. Let's look at some of these space stations to see what that means. If you have the big space laser, if you have no allies in a battle, you're +10 to your side. Or here, during each opponent's regroup phase, you get one of your ships back. And if you have all your ships and you start making your opponents lose ships. Here you put tokens on this one every time you win. You take one off every time you lose. If there's 5 tokens, it counts as an extra colony for you. Here you get to draw 2 cards when you're the defense. And there's several of these cards in the deck. Now, one of the things that I'm a little disappointed with this expansion about is that there's only 10 of these cards. And I understand that there's constraints on production and all, but I really love these. And I would love if there was more than just 10. Also, the regular rules basically say that when you get captured, when that planet gets captured, then the space station's gone. But I like playing with the variant that they have, where when you capture someone's space station, you get to use it, which adds some tactical things to the game, especially when you're negotiating with other players. You can say, I'm going to put one of your ships on this planet, and when you do that, it matters what planet you put it on, because if one of my ships is on your planet here, then I have no real reason to attack that other than to get the space station. So that adds to the game. Now, even though I think that there should be more space stations, doesn't mean I don't like them a lot. I think it's great. I actually, even though I kind of made fun of Fantasy Flight for their expansion to expansions, they made an Arkham Horror expansion that added new stuff to all the previous expansions. For Cosmic, that would be great. I'd love to see a new expansion that had more space stations and more technologies from the first game and more of the Defender rewards deck and etc. I think that would be neat to see, but we probably won't see that. But you know what? Space stations aside, I think they're a neat addition to the game, and I will play with them most of the time. However, the new aliens in this one are some of the best we've seen yet. These are 25 fantastic aliens. There's not one alien here that I think is a dud. I think they're all great. The 10 I showed you, I will pick almost any time I come across them. And the flares that they let you do, oh man. For example, the one, the guy who can, when you attack him and you get a colony on the person's planet, if you lose as the defense, well, your super flare lets you take 2 colonies. Mind blown. That's just really neat. So there's a lot of cool stuff involved in this game. It makes Cosmic Encounter. In fact, if you don't care about getting an extra player, this would actually be the first expansion I would recommend, just because you get 25 good aliens. Now, if you want another player color, you want 6 players, then get one of the other 3 first. But, oh, wow, these are just solid aliens. I was expecting, really, that they were going to go out on a limb and pick really weird aliens with really off-the-wall powers. And, I mean, I guess you could argue that the Swindler's power is really strange, but most of these powers are just very straightforward, cool powers. I like it a lot. Cosmic Storm, great expansion for the greatest game ever.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
What do you want me to do? Shut the door!
There.